Hi, I'm Sarah Elizabeth Cornejo. This is so surreal. Stewie and I are also in the same room here. This is also Stewie's work in this talk. And my husband was Stewie's roommate in college. So everybody who's friends is in the same room here, which is very sweet. So when I was at Davidson, I was an English major and a studio art major. And I really benefited from the way that we had a really small program, and I really benefited from the way that we did the thesis, it being really like a year and a half long if we count like the junior, whatever the number is. But it was great because I got to use my English major kind of as research for my studio thesis and kind of use it like kind of pick my classes strategically so they could feed into what I was going to be doing, what kind of work I'd be doing here. And interestingly enough, I was only doing drawing really for the most part until my last semester at Davidson. I did an independent study with Court and had this one sculpture I really wanted to make and was really interested in material. I kind of actually already had all these materials collected, which was, I guess, an interesting, has been an urge, seems to be an urge throughout this show and these artists. But from there, I went to grad school for sculpture or interdisciplinary studio, but I did mostly sculpture. And so this work, all three of these pieces were made at the same time with each other in mind for a solo show just under a year ago. And they're this exploration of material. I mean, my grandfather is from South Carolina, and he was a forester, and so I have all these collected materials from him and that I've collected. And then my father is from Arequipa, Peru, and immigrated rather late in life, and so that kind of clash of experience is a hybrid relationship I'm really interested in. So when I was making this room, I'm doing a lot of research into pre-Columbian serpent mythologies in Latin America and how they are incredibly different from kind of dominant, more Catholic Christian doctrines on like the symbolism around serpents. These are much more deep earth, deep water dwelling. They're responsible for earthly equilibrium. They're really not interested in humans, you know, whether we live or die. They're just interested in righting the balance of the world. And so, and they're also a personal symbol for me, the kind of hybridity, the forked tongue, the dual language, dual culture of my own life. But when I was making them, I wanted to kind of create this liminal space at the center of the earth that they would embody and that we'd walk into. And so I was trying to think about how would people come into this space and experience these works. Sculpture is so active and it exists in front of us the way that we exist. And so that's a little bit of a cheat in some ways. So I wanted to create these portals on the wall that pull a little bit from the mola tradition in Latin America, but there was this old Spanish version of Snow White that I grew up watching, and this is not about Snow White, but there's a moment where there's just total darkness and all these eyes are looking out, and I was really affected by that as a child, and thinking about it as an adult. It's an interesting moment of, you know, if two people are looking at something, at eyes in the darkness, they're both afraid of something different, something entirely self-created, and that moment of fear is a lot more powerful than whatever the explanation is. So I thought about when people are coming into this liminal space, it kind of feeds into afterlives. It's kind of talking about eternity. These are sort of relating to deities. All these things are very potentially scary topics, and so I wanted it to be, this is sort of the moment that, these are called Amaru in Peru, which is where my family's from, and this sort of moment that this is their vantage point, this is how they're observing our actions on Earth and what's happening and kind of calculating what's needed to right the balance. And that moment for us is how are we gonna steel ourselves as we enter into this space? What are we gonna find there? And then this portal was a little bit in here how it was there, but you can't see it till you walked into the space. So then when you leave, you kind of walk past it, and it's sort of this more abstract, still a little bit serpentine portal out of the space that kind of allows you to process whatever you dealt with in the space, however you interacted with my work, kind of on your own terms. So that's the work I have here. Sorry if I talk fast, I am so cold.